To another story that we mentioned in our top headlines, story that has grabbed national attention. Just to kind of pull back the curtain here, we have the network, what's happening on network TV right in front of me. So, a lot of times we see what's happening nationwide and what networks are doing right in front of me at these TVs. And the story that's started here locally, and again, that has grabbed national headlines, is that stabbing on a Katz light rail that happened recently. President Donald Trump asked about it in Maryland over the weekend, said he wasn't aware of the situation, but said it was horrible. He said, quote, yesterday, "I'll know all about it by tomorrow," when asked if he's seen the video. Again, this is a story that, that video, surveillance video from the light rail from that incident back on August 22nd came out on Friday. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre was able to get that video. I don't have too many words to say about that video, Jesse. It's tough to watch, and it's been all over social media since this weekend. You're continuing to follow this story. Kind of walk us through what you're doing today.
So, like you mentioned, that video is hard to watch. Katz and investigators confirmed that the DeCarlos Brown, who's a suspect in this case, did not know Iryna Zarutska. This attack was unprovoked. This was a random attack. And when you watch the video, you see that he's sitting on the train, and she eventually just comes in. She sits directly in front of him, in the row in front of him, and then out of nowhere, 4 minutes later, he takes out a pocket knife and he stabs her several times. So unprovoked, random attack. And, I spoke to a former FBI agent last week, and he talked about how this was something that could happen anywhere and something that could have happened to anyone. It could have happened at a grocery store. He could have pulled out a pocket knife and stabbed somebody. He could have done it, you walking down the street. It just could have happened anywhere. And this incident has raised a lot of questions about safety and security on Katz public transportation. So one of the things that was brought up is, if there was security patrolling the area, would that have served as a deterrent? We don't know, right? When you're dealing with someone who's not in the right mental state, we don't know what would stop them or not, right? There were still cameras which captured the incident. That cameras can serve as a deterrent and so forth. Katz says that they have done several things, and they plan to continue to do several things to enhance safety, security, including increasing security patrols and so forth, upgrading cameras as well, and they've also already stepped up patrols on the blue line. Now, there is also questions about mental health, and also if there are gaps in the criminal justice system, because this man, Brown, has a long criminal history. And again, when we're looking at this incident, it's not clear if he was, dealing with any specific issue there. He's not doing too much. He's shifting his seats and so forth. But his attorney has filed a motion to have his competence evaluated in this case. Mm-hmm. But there was another case where he was arrested in January, where he called police. I would actually have to pull it up, but he called police because he felt like someone was. It's a very weird story.
Like he was going through an episode or something.
Well, that's when I read the narrative of the story. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Okay.
And so he wanted help for something. Someone's forcing him to do something, and he then calls the police while the officers are there, not helping him. I guess to what he believes is his ability, the best ability. He calls police on them, or calls police, or calls 911 again to get help on this situation, and so he gets arrested for misusing 911. In that case, in I think July, they filed for his competence to be evaluated then, right?
Yeah.
And so, to me, from January to this, this next case and so forth, it sounds like mental health is a thing. He also has been arrested multiple times. Now we're talking about things like robbery and this misuse of 911 and other, other petty crimes included as well. Mm-hmm. But this man has been arrested so many times, in and out of jail, in and out of the justice system. But and again, I don't have a full file on him, but it sounds like when it comes to the mental health system, where are the gaps there, right? Yeah. If you're, and I believe, and, when I did the background check, or when I saw the background check, it seemed like he was noted as homeless at the same a couple times here and there too.
Yeah.
And so, where is the access to mental health for people like him who are struggling and so forth? One thing Kat says is that they do have an increase of number of people who are homeless or struggling with mental health that are ending up on their buses and trains, and that's something I already heard from Kat's bus driver saying that's a hard thing. And then it's like that in between. Do I fight for them to pay or just let them on so they don't make trouble? You know what I mean? But where are the resources to help those people? So then it's just like the cycle. They just come in, they're around and so forth. But we know that they're not in the right mental capacity, but they're just here and among. And so when something happens like this, there's a reaction, but what could have been done to prevent this, or what could have been done to give him some support? Kat says they have this program called Connect, where they're trying to connect folks who are homeless or with mental health illness to different resources and housing and different things like that. And they're looking for partnerships to be able to expand on that. And so that is one way to help. But when I spoke to mental health experts, which you'll see in my stories later today, they're talking about a lack of staffing when it comes to mental health services, a lack of beds for inpatient care, and then you just have a lot of different issues when it comes to access to be able to connect folks who need, especially those who need it the most.
They're stretched thin.
And so you have people who are falling through those gaps and not getting the resources that they need. Now, with that said, just because you have a mental health illness or so forth doesn't mean you're going to commit a crime. However, if you're untreated, and if you have other strains in your life, you know what I mean? You can be harmful to yourself and somebody else. So, that's kind of what I'm digging deep into. I think that, yes, safety and security is a big thing, obviously, on the, public transit system, especially when they're looking at, getting that red line and that sales tax and so forth. But I think it goes bigger and goes deeper than that. Mental health, where is there a gap, and how did he fall through the cracks there? And then the judicial system, if he's in and out of jail and so forth, how do we connect the mental health and criminal system to make sure that, yes, this person's in and out of jail, but there's obviously there's a mental health issue there. Should he just be roaming the streets freely like that, So there's so many different questions and things like that. And
so many different factors. Like it's just, obviously you see the video, you read the story, and yes, but there's so many other factors as you're laying out that it's just not that simple.
It's not.
As tragic as this is, it's not that simple.
Exactly. And I think even finding resources and answers and, coming to a point where, we have the adequate amount of resources to, to have prevention, intervention, and so forth. It's going to take some time, but it's going to take money, right? It always comes down to funding. With more money, you can get more people. With more money, you can get more facilities built. With more money and investment in prioritizing this as an issue, you'll be able to help more people.
A lot unpacked there. Jesse is reporting on the story. One of Bria Smith also following up on the story as well. Jesse, thank you for your time. You can catch Jesse. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jesse. 4 and 5.
4 and 5 tonight.
4 and 5. You can catch a story, and then you can see it on our digital platforms. Again, Jesse, thank you for your time. I know you.